Shanti. Withdraw your attention from the outside world and bring it to yourself. Focus at the center of your forehead and experience that I am that consciousness, that awareness. Wherever your intellect is, maybe thinking about past or future, bring it in this moment, in the presence. I am a shining star, shining at the center of my forehead. Try to experience it. Feel it. Try to visualize. See yourself as a star, shining light. I am not my body. I am not my past. I am not my mind. Detach yourself from all the unnecessary thoughts. Just liberate yourself and tell yourself, I am a soul and I am the creator of my feeling and my thoughts. I am a peaceful being. Peace is my original virtue. Experience an ocean of peace within yourself. The calmness, the lightness, in your eyes, your face, and gradually this stream of peace is radiating to your whole body. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. So let's begin with today's session. We've started with this beautiful chapter, Enlightened Relationships. So we'll continue with that from page number 140 in the hard book. I'll just share my screen for the PDF. Okay, is my screen visible? Okay. So let's start. Am I audible? Okay. So we'll start from the paragraph that starts to suddenly see that you are or have been attached to your pain can be quite a shocking realization. The moment you realize this, you have broken the attachment. The pain body is an energy field, almost like an entity that has become temporarily lodged in your inner space. It is life energy that has become trapped, energy that is no longer flowing. Of course, the pain body is there because of certain things that happened in the past. It is the living past in you, and if you identify with it, you identify with the past. A victim identity is the belief that the past is more powerful than the present, which is the opposite of the truth. It is the belief that other people and what they did to you are responsible for who you are now, for your emotional pain or your inability to be your true self. The truth is, one second. I've gone too further down. Okay, sorry, yeah. The truth is that the only power there is contained within this moment. It is the power of your presence. Once you know that, you also realize that you are responsible for your inner space now. Nobody else is. And that the past cannot prevail against the power of the now. So it's important that we realize that we are not living in the past, we are in the present. So constantly staying in the awareness of the presence. So identification prevents you from dealing with the pain body. Some women who are already conscious enough to have relinquished their victim identity on the personal level are still holding on to a collective victim identity. What men did to women, they are right and they are also wrong. They are right in as much as the collective female pain body is in large part due to male violence inflicted on women and repression of the female principle throughout the planet over millennia. They are wrong if they derive a sense of self from this fact and thereby keep themselves imprisoned in a collective victim identity. If a woman is still holding on to anger, resentment, or condemnation, she is holding on to her pain body. This may give her a comforting sense of identity, of solidarity with other women, but it is keeping her in bondage to the past and blocking full access to her essence and true power. So basically, collective victim identity is whatever happened in the past, whatever women experienced, holding on to all of that. The author is saying that causes resistance in the present as well. If women exclude themselves from men, that fosters a sense of separation and then therefore a strengthening of the ego. And the stronger the ego, the more distant you are from your true nature. So do not use the pain body to give you an identity. Use it for enlightenment instead. Transmute it into consciousness. One of the best times for this is during menses. I believe that in the years to come, many women will enter the fully conscious state during that time. Usually, it is a time of unconsciousness for many women as they are taken over by the collective female pain body. Once you have reached a certain level of consciousness, however, you can reverse this. So instead of becoming unconscious, you become more conscious. So this is true, isn't it? During a menstrual cycle, we do go through these mood swings. So that's what the author is referring to, that our pain body gives us an identity, moreover, during that time. I have described the basic process already, but let me take you through it again. This time with special reference to the collective female pain body. When you know that the menstrual flow is approaching, before you feel the first signs of what is commonly called premenstrual tension, the awakening of the collective female pain body, become very alert and inhabit your body as fully as possible. When the first sign appears, you need to be alert enough to catch it before it takes you over. For example, the first sign may be a sudden strong irritation or a flash of anger, or it may be a purely physical symptom. Whatever it is, catch it before it can take over your thinking or behavior. So basically, we need to start getting more aware of what our feelings are. Start observing them. This simply means putting the spotlight of your attention onto it. If it is an emotion, feel the strong energy charge behind it. Know that it is the pain body At the same time, be the knowing. That is to say, be aware of your conscious presence and feel its power. Any emotion that you take your presence into will quickly subside and become transmuted. If it is a purely physical symptom, the attention that you give it will prevent it from turning into an emotion or a thought. Then continue to be alert and wait for the next sign of the pain body. When it appears, catch it again in the same way as before. Later, when the pain body has fully awakened from its dormant stage, you may experience considerable turbulence in your inner space for a while, perhaps for several days. Whatever form this takes, stay present. Give it your complete attention. Watch the turbulence inside you. Know it is there. Hold the knowing and be the knowing. Remember, do not let the pain body use your mind and take over your thinking. Watch it. Feel its energy directly inside your body. As you know, full attention means full acceptance. This is important. Full attention means full acceptance. So we need to be really, really aware of our feelings, have constant attention to it, watch it as a detached observer. Through sustained attention and thus acceptance, there comes transmutation. The pain body becomes transformed into radiant consciousness, just as a piece of wood, when placed in or near a fire, itself is transformed into fire. Menstruation will then become not only a joyful and fulfilling experience of your womanhood, but also a sacred time of transmutation, when you give birth to a new consciousness. Your true nature then shines forth both in its female aspect as the goddess and its transcendental aspect as the divine being, that you are beyond male and female duality. If your male partner is conscious enough, he can help you with the practice I have just described by holding the frequency of intense presence, particularly at this time. If he stays present, whenever you fall back into unconscious identification with the pain body, which can and will happen at first, you will be able to quickly rejoin him in that state. So here the author is referring to the partner, how his presence and his support is important. This means that whenever the pain body temporarily takes over, whether during menses or at other times, your partner will not mistake it for who you are. Even if the pain body attacks him, as it probably will, He will not react to it as if it were you, withdraw or put up some kind of defense. Even if the pain body attacks him, as it probably will, he will not react to it as if it were you, withdraw or put some kind of defense. He will hold the space of intense presence. Nothing else is needed for transformation. At other times, you will be able to do the same for him or help him reclaim consciousness from the mind by drawing his attention into the here and now whenever he becomes identified with his thinking. In this way, a permanent energy field of a pure and high frequency will arise between you. No illusion, no pain, no conflict, nothing that is not you, and nothing that is not love can survive in it. This represents the fulfillment of the divine, transpersonal purpose of your relationship. It becomes a vortex of consciousness that will draw in many others. Give up the relationship with yourself. When one is fully conscious, would one still have a need for a relationship? Would a man still feel drawn to a woman? Would a woman still feel incomplete without a man? Enlightened or not, you are either a man or a woman. So on the level of your form identity, you are not complete. You are one half of the whole. This incompleteness is felt as male-female attraction, the pull toward the opposite energy polarity, no matter how conscious you are. But in that state of inner connectedness, you feel this pull somewhere on the surface of periphery of your life. Anything that happens to you in that state feels somewhat like that. The whole world seems like waves or ripples on the surface of a vast and deep ocean. You are that ocean, and of course, you are also a ripple, but a ripple that has realized its true identity as the ocean. And compared to that vastness and depth, the world of waves and ripples is not all that important. So here the author is referring to being soul conscious. When we understand that we are not this body, not this gender, we are a soul, then we open up this identity as the ocean, that, it's genderless, the soul is genderless. This does not mean that you don't relate deeply to other people or to your partner. In fact, you can relate deeply only if you are conscious of being. Coming from being, you are able to focus beyond the veil of form. In being, male and female are one. Your form may continue to have certain needs, but being has none. It is already complete and whole. So the author said so clearly that the being, your soul, is already complete and whole. If those needs are met, that is beautiful, but whether or not they are met makes no difference to your deep inner state. So it is perfectly possible for an enlightened person, if the need for the male or female polarity is not met, to feel a sense of lack or incompleteness on the outer level of his or her being. Yet, at the same time, be totally complete, fulfilled, and at peace within. In the quest for enlightenment, is being gay a help or a hindrance? Or does it not make any difference? As you approach adulthood, uncertainty about your sexuality, followed by the realization that you are different from others, may force you to disidentify from socially conditioned patterns of thought and behavior. This will automatically raise your level of consciousness above that of the unconscious majority, whose members unquestioningly take on board all inherited patterns. In that respect, being gay can be a help. Being an outsider to some extent, someone who does not fit in with others or is rejected by them for whatever reason, makes life difficult, but it also places you at an advantage as far as enlightenment is concerned. It takes you out of unconsciousness almost by force. On the other hand, if you then develop a sense of identity based on your gayness, you have escaped one trap only to fall into another. You will play roles and games dictated by a mental image you have of yourself as gay. You will become unconscious. You will become unreal. Underneath your ego mask, you will become very unhappy. If this happens to you, being gay will have become a hindrance. But you always get another chance, of course. Acute unhappiness can be a great awakener. Is it not true that you need to have a good relationship with yourself and love yourself before you can have a fulfilling relationship with another person? If you cannot be at ease with yourself when you are alone, you will seek a relationship to cover up your unease. You can be sure that the unease will then reappear in some other form within the relationship, and you will probably hold your partner responsible for it. All you really need to do is accept this moment fully. You are then at ease in the here and now and at ease with yourself. But do you need to have a relationship with yourself at all? Why can't you just be yourself? When you have a relationship with yourself, you have split yourself into two. T and myself subject and object. That mind-created duality is the root cause of all unnecessary complexity, of all problems and conflict in your life. In the state of enlightenment, you are yourself. You and yourself merge into one. You do not judge yourself. You do not feel sorry for yourself. You are not proud of yourself. You do not love yourself. You do not hate yourself, and so on. The split caused by self-reflective consciousness is healed. Its curse removed. There is no self that you need to protect, defend, or feed anymore. You are enlightened. There is one relationship that you no longer have. The relationship with yourself. Once you have given that up, all your other relationships will be love relationships. So this is what is detachment, detachment for yourself, from yourself. That you're not this body, not this mind, you're just a soul. So once you start understanding that, once you start getting more aware that you're just a soul, that is enlightenment. So let's move on to the next chapter, which is chapter 9. Beyond happiness and unhappiness, there is peace. The higher good beyond good and bad. Is there a difference between happiness and inner peace? Yes. Happiness depends on conditions being perceived as positive. Inner peace does not. Is it not possible to attract only positive conditions into our life? If our attitude and our thinking are always positive, we would manifest only positive events and situations, wouldn't we? Do you truly know what is positive and what is negative? Do you have the total picture? There have been many people for whom limitation, failure, loss, illness, or pain, in whatever form, turned out to be their greatest teacher. It taught them to let go of false self-images and superficial ego-dictated goals and desires. It gave them depth, humility, and compassion. It made them more real. Whenever anything negative happens to you, there is a deep lesson concealed within it, although you may not see it at that time. Even a brief illness or an accident can show you what is real and unreal in your life, what ultimately matters and what doesn't. Seen from a higher perspective, conditions are always positive. To be more precise, they are neither positive nor negative. They are as they are. And when you live in complete acceptance of what is, which is the only sane way to live, there is no good or bad in your life anymore. There is only a higher good, which includes the bad. Seen from the perspective of the mind, however, there is good, bad, like, dislike, love, hate. Hence, in the book of Genesis, it is said that Adam and Eve were no longer allowed to dwell in paradise when they ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This sounds to me like denial and self-deception. When something dreadful happens to me or someone close to me, accident, illness, pain, or of some kind, or death, I can pretend that it isn't bad, but the fact remains that it is bad. So why deny it? You are not pretending anything. You are allowing it to be as it is. That's all. This allowing to be takes you beyond the mind with its resistance patterns that create the positive negative polarities. So this is important, allowing to be. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. We can't change anything. So the acceptance and the allowing to be is important. It is an essential aspect of forgiveness. Forgiveness of the present, even more important than forgiveness of the past. If you forgive every moment, allow it to be as it is, then there will be no accumulation of resentment that needs to be forgiven at some later time. Remember that we are not talking about happiness here. For example, when a loved one has just died, or you feel your own death approaching, you cannot be happy. It is impossible, but you can be at peace. There may be sadness and tears, but provided that you have relinquished resistance, underneath the sadness, you feel a deep serenity, a stillness, a sacred presence. This is the emanation of being. This is the inner peace, the good that has no opposite. What if it is a situation that I can do something about? How can I allow it to be and change it at the same time? Do what you have to do. In the meantime, accept what is. Since mind and resistance are synonymous, acceptance immediately frees you from mind dominance and thus reconnects you with being. So here the author is saying the importance of acceptance. As soon as we accept and we don't have resistance, we don't resist anything, we immediately realize that we are a soul, reconnect. Can you please mute yourself? Okay, am I audible? Okay. As a result, the usual ego motivations for doing, fear, greed, control, and defending, or feeding the false sense of self will cease to operate. An intelligence much greater than the mind is now changing. An intelligence much greater than the mind is now in charge, and so a different quality of consciousness will flow into your doing. Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny for what could more aptly fit your needs. This was written 2000 years ago by Marcus Aurelius, one of those exceedingly rare humans who possessed worldly power as well as wisdom. So what did he say? Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny for what could more aptly fit your needs. It seems that most people need to experience a great deal of suffering before they will relinquish resistance and accept, before they will forgive. As soon as they do, one of the greatest miracles happens: the awakening of being consciousness through what appears as evil, the transmutation of suffering into inner peace. The ultimate effect of all the evil and suffering in the world is that it will force humans into realizing what they are beyond name and form. So the ultimate effect of all the evil and suffering in the world is that it will force humans into realizing who they are beyond name and form. So this is important for us to understand. Thus, what we perceive as evil from our limited perspective is actually part of the higher good that has no opposite. This, however, does not become true for you except through forgiveness. Until that happens, evil has not been redeemed and therefore remains evil. Through forgiveness, which essentially means recognizing the unsubstantiality of the past and allowing the present moment to be as it is, the miracle of transformation happens not only within, but also without. A silent space of intense presence arises both in you and around you. Whoever or whatever enters that field of consciousness will be affected by it, sometimes visibly and immediately, sometimes at deeper levels, with visible changes appearing at a later time. You dissolve discord, heal pain, dispel unconsciousness without doing anything, simply by being and holding that frequency of intense presence. Okay, so I think we'll finish here. Okay. So does anyone want to share their experience of what they've understood today? Does anyone want to share what they've understood today, or should we go on to the questions? Okay, Rajiv ji has raised his hand. Okay.
Yeah, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
I'm trying to say that the author saying that there is something beyond happiness, and happiness there is peace. That we have to accept that happiness is there and unhappiness is there, and we have to look it as a rasta. That, uh, but normally we got attached with tea and myself, and we feel the pain and all. But we should be aware that both are same and feel like that. Uh, like that in a battery, there is a positive and negative thing. And in life, there is something unpleasant will happen. We have to accept it that it is happening, and that's still the without positive and negative, the battery doesn't work. Like that in the life, there's something will be positive and something will be negative. We should be beyond it and enjoy the both things with polarity.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Does anyone else want to share? Could we have the questions in the chat box today? Yes. Okay. So the first question is, have you ever found yourself trapped in the victim identity? Was it a shocking realization for you to know how we have been attached to our pain? Who would like to answer? Okay, Samriddhi sister has raised her hand.
Hello, greetings of peace to everybody. First of
Hello.
all, you explained everything very well. Thank you so much for that. It
Thank you.
was really a fascinating session to be with you. And coming to the question, yes, I have found myself trapped in this victim identity. And of course, it was extremely fascinating, but at the same time, really shocking realization for me to know that how I have been attached to my pain. It's like it was always about how the past controls the present and how others were responsible for my pain. It's likely like, I have encountered this kind of thinking at one time, realizing how attached I can be to pain. It was really surprising because at one time that attachment to pain, it gave me so much sympathy from other people
Yeah.
that it actually became like a source of comfort and validation to me. But over the period of time, I realized how I am different from the pain body and how it is not me. Thus, I started like disidentifying myself from the pain body, which really helped me a lot. And over the time, I have realized that validation and comfort from people would do nothing good to you. Eventually, you may become happy for a moment that so many people have value for me and all, but eventually it won't lead you anywhere. So, yeah, that is the thing. That's
Yeah.
all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sister, for sharing your views. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Thank you. Okay, Sujata ji has raised her hand. Yes, Sujata ji.
Shanti, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible, sister.
Yeah, even in my life, I found myself trapped in the victim identity for a long time. And unfortunately, I did not realize it for a long time. And now, looking back, when I realized very late, I feel I wasted a lot of my time of my life, which was very precious time. Like when I had lot of energy to do something better, I would have used my energy in doing something better, but I wasted it in victim identity. And when I realized very late, it was shocking for me that how I was attached to my pain got over long back, but I was like every day living in that pain just because of those memories. And if this book would have come to help at that time, it would have helped a lot to live a better life. But maybe drama was like that. That time it was so hectic life, balancing professional and personal life, bringing up child, that there was no time to read anything like book, self-help books or like that. So at least now I realize that that is not good. So this experience which my soul had in this life would help me in future and future lives not to identify with, not to live in a victim identity stage. Okay, thank you. Om Shanti.
Thank you so much, sister. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your experiences. Thank you. Anyone else would want to share something? So Rana ji has written, yes, it is surprising because if we were our unconscious, we can't see that it is a false image and it is self-identification. So we are attached to pain. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. So can we have the next question, please, sister? Thank you. How can you prevent pain body from using your mind and taking over your thinking? The author says, through sustained attention and thus acceptance, there comes transmutation. What have you understood by what the author has suggested? So, who would like to answer? Samriddhi sister. Okay, thank you.
Hello. The pain body is actually a concept in this book which is referring to the accumulated emotional pain from the past. So
Yeah.
the author suggests that sustained attention and acceptance is what can help us from controlling and preventing us to identifying into the pain body again, and also controlling our thoughts. So here's how I interpret this. The first has to be sustained attention. By consciously focusing on the present moment, you can observe your thoughts and feelings without the sense of judgment. And this is what allows you to see the pain body for what it is. The energy from the past and not your current reality. And just accepting the fact that this is not my reality and this is not me, it goes a long way, I believe. And second thing is acceptance. Resisting or fighting the pain body only strengthens it further. So instead of it, maybe we should just accept its presence without judgment, allowing the energy to, take over us. So yeah,
Yeah.
both of these things can go a long way in helping us.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah, that's so true. Thank you so much, sister, for sharing it with us. Would anyone else like to share? Okay, Induji has raised her hand. Thank you. Yes.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, sister.
मैं इससे एग्री करती हूँ। हाँ, ठीक है कि हमारी जो पेन बॉडी है वो ट्रिगर होती है, कई बार हमारे अपनी इमोशनल पेन है वो ट्रिगर होता है, या सामने वाले का कोई इमोशनल पेन है या उसका कोई संस्कार है वो ट्रिगर हो रहा है। तो इसके लिए हम अपने आप को एक्सेप्ट कर सकते हैं, ठीक है, और सामने वाले को भी एक्सेप्ट कर सकते हैं, ठीक है, अभी वो अपने माइंड से आइडेंटिफाई है, वो कॉन्शियस नहीं है। तो इस तरह से हम इसे ओवरकम कर सकते हैं, प्रेजेंट में रहकर, अपने आप पे ध्यान देकर और अपने वर्चुअस पे और सामने वाले को भी समझ के। थैंक यू।
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, हाँ जी। Thank you so much. बहुत beautifully आया. Thank you. So the next question is, what does it mean to be at ease with yourself? Do you find it difficult to accept yourself unconditionally? So, who would want to answer? Samriddhi sister?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So, being at ease with yourself, it is something which can be challenging, but it also means your inner peace and your harmony is something which is most important. It's not about ignoring faults, but approaching yourself with kindness and understanding.
Yeah.
Accepting yourself unconditionally can be challenging, of course, because we often judge ourselves based on the external expectations, often by comparing ourselves on social media or the different Bollywood movies we see. But the book suggests that focusing on the present moment and observing your critical self thoughts can help us to, self to help us in this journey of self acceptance. And there's this thing that when we have not accepted ourselves completely, we cannot accept the other person, which would
Yeah.
create such a havoc in the relationships. Because I remember just 2 3 days before we were talking about how important acceptance is in all the relationships, including romantic relationships. So by detaching from those thoughts, you can start to see yourself more clearly and with compassion. At the same time, I believe it is extremely important to remember that power of now is a guide. So it will take time and some practice to cultivate these qualities. But yeah,
Mm.
I think I I just read this quote that the first step towards self-love is accepting how your nose looks. So from that day, I always look at the mirror and say that I love my nose. So I think that something is really great, and that's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sister. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Would anyone else want to share their experience or just add to that? Anyone? Okay, Sujata ji. हाँ जी.
Om Shanti, am
Om
I audible?
Shanti. Yes, yes, you're audible, sister.
Actually, I want to ask question regarding today's reading that on one point author says that forgiveness of the present is more important than forgiveness of the past. So I don't understand much detail about this. Why author has said? Can you explain this?
Um, I think as far as my understanding is that whatever happens in the present is also a part of our karmic account that has been going on for many births. So a full acceptance and no resistance is very important. So even if something happens in the present, just to forgive, because it is based on our own karmic accounts. That is what my understanding is. And I think that's what the author is referring to just forgive and accept without any resistance, even in the present, even the past, just total acceptance and forgiveness. I think that's what the author is saying. Has that been helpful? Okay, Ms. Sujata ji. Sujata ji, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I understood your explanation.
Would you want to add something to that or?
No, this last question, I just want to, like, I agree totally that it is very difficult to accept our own self unconditionally, and I think we have to work on it because
Yeah.
we have a sanskar of not accepting ourselves, and
Mm.
from there only starts not accepting others also, because that
Yeah.
sanskar works for self as well as others, and
Yeah.
that is why relationships are spoiling because of non acceptance. So we have to work very patiently and persistently on this aspect, and then
Mm.
hope to have a better relationship, better, and also our own life will be improved. Forget about relationships, because
Yeah.
if we are in peace with ourselves, even if outside life situations are not that good or not the way we expect or we want, then also it will not trouble us. So life will become better and peaceful if we accept ourselves unconditionally.
Yeah.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Yeah, sister. No, you said very beautifully. Yeah, we need to accept ourselves. I think it's very important that we forgive ourselves first for whatever mistakes we've made in the past, whatever has happened. It's important to, forgive ourselves first before forgiving anyone else. And I think it's a journey. It takes time. So we need to be patient with ourselves as well. And slowly, slowly, we will, have that acceptance and non-resistance. So I think we are done for today. Is there anyone else? Okay, Sujata ji, Hanji. Do you
Om
want?
Shanti.
Om Shanti, Hanji.
Actually, I remembered one sentence from there is another book by Eckhart Tolle, Stillness Speaks.
Okay.
In that book, we have read that. So, in that book, he says, even if you are not able to accept yourself, accept that also. Please don't
Yeah,
resist
that
that.
is true.
So, initially, now because we are not in the state of accepting ourselves, it will be difficult. So, if we and when we remember this book's knowledge that we have to accept, then again we will resist not acceptance. So, in that, he says, if you are not able to accept yourself, or anybody accept that also that you are not able to, but don't have
Yeah,
a resistance. Main thing is don't resist anything. That's all. Even if
yeah,
acceptance is not there, that also don't resist.
that's so
Okay, Om
true.
Shanti. Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti. Thank you so much, Sujata ji. Thank you so much. Okay. Anyone else? I think Rajiv ji had raised his hand. Would you like to share something? Okay, yes.
Actually, we should be thankful to Sujata ji that who who updated us his knowledge now.
Yeah,
If anyone is not in position to do something, he should accept that I am not in position to doing something. After it, because very true. When first it comes in mind, it means we are trying to upgrade it and trying to
yeah,
accept it and trying to change the situation. Mm,
yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
thanks to her.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, that's really true.
Really.
Thank you so much for sharing as well. Okay, so I think we'll end the session today. Does anyone else want to share something or their experiences? If not, then we'll end. Okay, Rana ji has written, I liked the idea of collective female body pain. I was not aware of that too, and now it helps me in my journey. Okay, that's wonderful. All right. Anything else? Okay, so I think we'll end the session today with a beautiful song. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and we'll meet again tomorrow. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Hyaluronic acid की
चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले, जहां गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले। आ चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले, जहां गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले, एक ऐसे गगन के तले। सूरज की पहली किरण से आशा का सवेरा जागे, सूरज की पहली किरण से आशा का सवेरा जागे, चंदा की किरण से धुलकर घनघोर अंधेरा भागे, चंदा की किरण से धुलकर घनघोर अंधेरा भागे। कभी धूप खिले कभी छाँव मिले, लंबी सी डगर न खले, जहाँ गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले, एक ऐसे गगन के तले। जहाँ दूर नजर दौड़ाए आजाद गगन लहराए, जहाँ दूर नजर दौड़ाए आजाद गगन लहराए, जहाँ रंग बिरंगे पंछी आशा का संदेशा लाए, जहाँ रंग बिरंगे पंछी आशा का संदेशा लाए, सपनों में पली हंसती हो कली, जहाँ शाम सुहानी ढले, जहाँ गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले, एक ऐसे गगन के तले। सपनों के ऐसे जहां में जहां प्यार ही प्यार खिला हो, हम जाके वहां खो जाएं, शिकवा न कोई गिला हो, कहीं बैर न हो कोई गैर न हो, सब मिल के यूं चलते चले, जहाँ गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले। आ चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले, जहाँ गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले, एक ऐसे गगन के तले।